I was thinking the other day about how some animals just fully committed to a terrible build and never fixed it. Like pandas, entirely dependent on bamboo, barely interested in reproducing, and somehow still survive only through sheer public relation. If pandas were a startup, they would have been shut down immediately. Then I realized we did the same thing. Now with animals, with bananas. I eat bananas all the time, which is concerning because every banana you've ever eaten is basically the same banana. Not similar, not related, not like Alabama cousins, the same. Copy and pasted across the entire plant like nature hit Control C once and then retired. And that sounds fine until you realize the last time we did this, it went horribly wrong. And we accidentally deleted the most popular banana on Earth. It was completely gone, which is impressive. It is not easy to make a fruit go extinct. Bananas originally come from Southeast Asia, in places like Papua New Guinea, and they were not always the soft, sweet, convenient snack we know today. Early bananas were small, filled with large seeds, and had the general energy of something you would eat once and then immediately lie about and enjoy. Less quick breakfast and more, why is this thing crunchy? Over thousands of years, people selectively bred them into something better, softer, sweeter, and most importantly, less seeds. I gotta stop. Softer, sweeter, most importantly, seedless. Which sounds great, except removing the seeds also removes the ability to reproduce naturally. So now bananas have to be grown by cloning them. Every new banana plant is just cutting from another plant. Genetically identical, no variation, no diversity. There's an army of the same fruit marching forward with absolute confidence. If not adversity, I'm pretty sure school brochures hate them, which is either very efficient or deeply concerning depending on how much you trust biology. Bananas spread through trade routes into Africa, then eventually to the America, where they became extremely popular, especially in the United States. The problem is, the US is not exactly tropical, so growing bananas locally is not really an option unless you're willing to build a greenhouse the size of a small nation. So companies stepped in to import them. And one company in particular, the United Fruit Company, decided they were not just going to sell bananas, they were going to become bananas. They bought massive amounts of land in Central America, built railroads, controlled shipping, and started influencing government. Entire countries became essentially dependent on exporting bananas. This is where the term Banana Republic comes from, which sounds like a joke until you realize it describes a situation where a fruit company has more power than the actual government. So bananas went from a weird seedy plant in Southeast Asia to a full-blown geopolitical strategy, which is a lot of responsibility for something people eat while standing in the kitchen staring to the void. At the same time, the banana everyone was eating was called the Gras Michel. I need to get better at looking at pronunciation of some of these words. It tasted better than modern bananas. It was sturdier, easier to ship, basically the ideal banana. So naturally it was doomed. Please remember, all these bananas are cloned. When a fungal disease called Panama disease started spreading in the early 1900s, every single Gros Michel banana was vulnerable. No resistance, no backup plan, just millions of identical plants all getting absolutely ruined at the same time. And it wiped them out, almost completely. The most popular banana in the world just gone. Which is not great for a global industry built entirely around one fruit. So the solution was to replace it with a new banana, the Cavendish. And if you are thinking, surely this one is different, it is not. It is also a fucking clone. We experienced a catastrophic failure and responded by rebuilding the exact same system and hoping the fungus would respect our decision, which feels less like a strategy and more like optimism with branding. And this leads to one of my favorite details. Artificial banana flavor does not taste like bananas. You probably have noticed this or heard people on the internet talking about it. Banana candy tastes like something else, stronger, slightly off, like a banana that went to the gym and will not stop talking about it. That is because artificial banana flavoring is used on the extinct bananas, actually. That's because artificial banana flavoring is based off Gras Michel, the one that went extinct. So when people say artificial banana tastes fake, it is not fake. It is just based on a banana that most people have never actually tasted or seen, which means the real banana flavor might actually be the one in candy. And the banana you are eating is the replacement. So we launched the original banana, replaced it with a slightly worse version, and then gaslit ourselves into thinking the new one was normal. Which again, feels like something we would do. Despite all of this, bananas become one of the most popular fruits in the world. In many countries, plantains are a staple food, cooked, fried, baked, or boiled. In the United States, bananas become popular in desserts like banana bread, especially during the Great Depression when people needed ways to use overripe food instead of throwing it away. There was also banana ketchup in the Philippines, which sounds wrong until you remember regular ketchup is made from tomatoes. Everyone just accepted that without asking questions. Bananas are everywhere. They are cheap, convenient, and easy to eat. But behind the simplicity is a system that is extremely fragile because once again, the entire global banana supply depends on a single type of fruit that is genetically identical. And new diseases are already spreading. So the banana might seem like one of the most basic foods on Earth, but its story involves colonization, corporate power, economic control, and a biological setup that has already failed once. before. And if it fails again, the most popular fruit on the world could disappear, which will be bad, not just because we lose bananas, but because we will have learned absolutely nothing. If bananas ever go extinct, we lose a global food staple and a massive part of modern agriculture. But more importantly, we lose one of the easiest ways to make someone deeply uncomfortable in under 5 seconds. And I just do not think society is ready for that.